Hi friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Factory UPSC. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss the second chapter of 8th standard, that is Understanding Secularism. It's a very simple chapter that mainly deals with what is secularism and what is the concept of Indian secularism is. We already discussed a small topic on secularism on the first chapter of the 8th standard itself. Those who does not watch that video, go through the channel and watch that video please. So let's look into this chapter. Imagine yourself as a Hindu or a Muslim living in a part of United States of America where the Christian fundamentalism is more powerful. Suppose that despite being a US citizen, no one is willing to rent their house to you. What do you feel? It's a small situation. That's an imaginary situation that is put forward for us. That means that if we are a Hindu or a Muslim, we are living in United States of America where the Christian fundamentalism is very powerful. That means in USA, all we know that Christian fundamentalism is more powerful, and if we are there and no one is willing to give us any house for rent, what is our feeling? We feel marginalized, isn't it? Yes, we will feel marginalized, but in India we does not feel so, because Indian government does not follow any particular religion. Okay, this is the main concept of what the secularism is. No one should be discriminated against on the grounds of religious practices and beliefs. This statement rests on the assumption that all forms of domination related to the religion should end. This is the essence of secularism. Okay, so what is discussed here? The secularism refers to this separation of religion from the state. That means here in India, it does not have any official religion, and the religion is entirely separated from the state. That means that in India we all have, so we know that there are so many religions, and we have right to practice, profess and believes in any religion and propagate the religion also. But in some countries there does not allow so. That is the mode of Indian secularism. So the introduction part is over. So let's look into the chapter itself. History provides as many examples of the discrimination, exclusion and persecution of the grounds of religion. You may have read about the Jews were persecuted in Hitler's Germany and how several millions were killed. Yes, we all know that in Germany, Jews face so many discrimination and even ruthlessly killed so many Jews in Germany itself. Now, however, the Jewish state of Israel treats its own Muslims and Christians minorities quite badly, and in Saudi Arabia, non-Muslims are not allowed to build church, temple, etc., or they cannot gather on the public places for the prayers. Here it shows an example, it shows a simple example how ruthlessly several states are imposing religion on the common people. On the previous times, Hitler showed very cruelty towards Jews, but now the Jews itself, that means the Jewish state of Israel itself, treats its own Muslims and Christians minorities quite badly, and even in Saudi Arabia we can find that non-Muslims are not allowed to build any temple, or they are not supposed to pray even in common platform. Okay, so let's look into the next point. What is secularism? The Indian constitution contains fundamental rights that protect us against the state as well as against the tyranny of the majority. The Indian constitution allows the individual the freedom to live by their religion, beliefs and practices as they interpret these. In keeping with this idea of religious freedom for all, the India also adopted the strategy of spreading the power of religion and the power of state. The secularism refers to the separation of the religion from the state. The main point is enclosed in the last sentence, that is, The secularism refers to the separation of religion from the state. The main concept that is included in this paragraph is that Indian Constitution allows each and every individual to believe, to propagate and to practice and to interpret the religion without any fear, because India accepts all religion itself, and in the Constitution itself does not consider any religion as their official religion. Okay, is that clear? So let's look into next subtopic. Why is it important to separate religion from the state? As we discussed above, the most important aspect of secularism is its separation of the religion from the state power. This is important for a country to function democratically. That means that for a democratic propagation or for the democratic workout of a country, it is necessary to separate religion from the state power. Almost all countries in the world will have more than one religious group living in them. Within the religious groups, there will be most likely to be the groups that is majority, and if this majority religious group has access to the state power, then it could quite easy to use the power and the financial resource to discriminate against the persecuted persons of other religious groups. That means that if a country does not allow, that means if a country is not separating the religion from the state, what is the situation, or what will be the situation there? The prominent group or the prominent religious group in the country will impose their power on the minority, and they also use their power and financial resources to discriminate against this minority section. This tyranny of the majority could result in the discrimination and the concernation and the time even killing to the religious minorities. That means that this even may occur, or this even may cause the honor killing occurs in many places. Even in India we can find that honor killing that may happen during time to time, and any from the domination based of the religion is violation of the rights and the democratic society's guarantees to each and every citizen irrespective of their religion. That means that Indian Constitution itself provide the right to every citizen to propagate and to avoid discrimination on the basis of religion. If there is any discrimination on the basis of religion on the public places, it is a crime under the rule of law. Okay. Therefore, the tyranny of the majority and the violation of the fundamental rights can result in the reason why it's important to separate religion from the democratic societies. So, in order to avoid the discrimination and in order to avoid the marginalization, it should be important to have to separate the religion entirely from the state. Another reason is that it is important to separate the religion from the state in the democratic societies is because we also need to protect the freedom of individuals to exit from the religion and embrace others' religion, or to have the freedom to interpret religion's teachings differently. That means in India itself we can that means that we are free to choose any religion, and the government or the state does not impose any religion on its citizen, and we are free to choose, or we have the freedom to interpret the religious teachings on our own ways, on the different manner. To understand this point, let's take the practice of untouchability. That means that in order to make it clear, we have to take the point of untouchability. We might feel that the practice within the Hinduism, that is untouchability, we does not want it. If we does not want the practice of untouchability in Hinduism, we have the power. That means the state have the power to reform it, because it is very cruel, and it is very barbarian fact, or it's a very barbarian and cruel attempt on the majority over the minority. So in some special cases, that means the cases in which the human right violation occurs, the state even impose its power on the religion. So there is a border point for every aspect of religion in India also. Here is a beautiful picture that is that's a concept of secularism is exist. Okay, so what is the concept of Indian secularism? It's a very important topic. What is the concept of Indian secularism? The Indian constitution mandate that the Indian state to be secular. According to the constitution, only a secular state can realize the objective to ensure the following things. That means in order to find a healthy situation in any country, there should be a secularism exist. So what are the objectives that to be ensured? The first objective is that one religious community does not dominate over other. So one should not dominate over the other's religion. And the second is that some members does not dominate other members of the same religious community. That means within the religion itself, no domination can be take place. And the third is that the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individual. It means that state should not focus or state should not impose its power to take the religion for a citizen, and does not have the right to question the religion of a person. Okay, so any Indian citizen is free to choose their own religion and practice their own religion. The Indian state works in various ways to prevent the above domination. So which are the main ways that the Indian state work in the various way to prevent above the domination? That means how the Indian state itself trying to separate or trying to keep a space between the state and religion. So let's see which are the main process or which are the main concept they are taking. The first strategy for distancing itself from the religion is the Indian state is not ruled by the religious group and does not support any religion. In India, the government spaces like law, court, police stations, government schools, offices are not supposed to display or promote any religion, which means that to keep itself from the religion, that means the government institutions or the government officers does not try to propose or propagate any religion by their own. That means in the public places or the public government offices like the law of court, police station and the school itself, we cannot propagate or we cannot practice any religious matter in the government institutions. There is a cartoon which give us the same idea. I will summarize the concept that the two children were talking to each other that they are studying in a government school, and they talking each other that can we practice or can we celebrate in a small religious festival that is celebrated locally. So and the children and another children reply to that we cannot do, let's talk to the teacher. So they seek advice from the teacher, and the teacher says that I am afraid that that is impossible, Rekha, and this is a government school and we cannot give importance to any one religion as the private school might. The government schools does not celebrate any religious festival in the school premises, and the most religious festival are public holidays, so we can celebrate this at home, which means that the government institutions for the school itself that we cannot practice or we cannot celebrate any religious things because as that of the private schools, and we can most of these religious festivals are of public holidays and we can celebrate that in the school. Okay, it's a simple concept which shows the idea that we cannot practice any religious festival or celebrate any religious festival even for the school itself. And the celebration of the religious festival within the school would have been the violation of government's policy of treating all religions equally. That is a concept which I have discussed. Then the government schools cannot promote any one religion either in the morning prayers or through the religious celebration. These rules does not apply to the private school. That means the private schools can do whatever they like. They can practice any religion. They can propagate religion, which the government school cannot do. Okay. And the second way in which the secularism was to prevent the above domination is through the strategy of non-interference, which means that they do not try to interfere in religion. That means the state does not try to interfere more in the religion. This means that in order to respect the sentiments of all religion and not interfere with the religious practice, the state makes certain exceptions for a particular religion. Okay, there is a cartoon which shows the topic. I will summarize this. There are two travelers, one who wears helmet, and other we are thinking that he's from Punjab and wearing a turban. Okay, so the person who wears helmet asked to for the person from the Punjab that where is your helmet, and if you are not wearing helmet you will be fined. Do you want to be fined? So the sick person or the person from the Punjab replied that don't worry, I will not be fined, because for the Sikhs wearing the pugri, that means for the turban, is very important part of our religion. Government cannot force them to wear the helmet. So there are some exceptions for the religion, and this is a simple concept which gives us an idea that government cannot interfere, or the government is not interfering on the religious matters. Okay, in the here we can find that the Sikh youth that does not wear the helmet. This is because the Indian state recognizes that wearing the pagri or the turban is central to the Sikh religion practice in order not to interfere within and allow to the exception in law. Okay, and the third way, we have discussed the two ways, and which are the two ways? And the first one is we have already discussed that the strategy of distancing itself from the religion. And the second way, what is the second way? And the second way is that to non-interference. That means we are not interfering on the religion. And the third way is that a strategy of intervention, which means that we have already discussed the concept of untouchability. It is a good example where the members of the same religion, that means upper class Hindus, dominate over the peoples of lower caste. So in order to prevent this religious based exclusions, the domination, that means in order to prevent this domination in a religion itself, the state will interfere in the religion in order to end the social practice, that is to avoid discrimination that excludes or the violate fundamental rights of lower castes who are the citizens of the country itself. Okay, it means that a simple concept is that the state will interfere in the religion if there is violation of fundamental rights due to religion. Okay, similarly to ensure that the law relating to the equal inheritance, the state may have to interfere. Okay, so it's a simple concept. And let's look into the next paragraph. The Indian Constitution grants the right to religious communities to set up their own schools and colleges. It also gives the financial aid on non-perfunctory base. That means that the Indian Constitution provides, that means Indian Constitution support every private organizations to form their own religious institutions such as schools, colleges, or in temples or something else, or the financial institutions, etc. And it give them any permission to allow or to start these type of institutions. Okay. Here on the left side we can see a picture that there is a flag of United States of America, and the students were pledging, or students were saying something. Let's see what is the student saying. In the United States of America, most children in the government schools have begin their school day reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. The pledge include the word under God. It was established more than 60 years ago that the government schools are not required to recite the pledge if it conflicts within their religious belief. Despite this, there have been several legal challenges for obtaining the phrase, which means that in the schools of United States of America, they have to start their schooling with the pledge of under the God, and the schools under the government or the United States of America does not have to say so. Okay, it is not done in order to keep a secularism in the state itself. Is that clear? So If you look into the US Constitution, the legislature cannot declare any religion as the official religion, nor they can give preference to one religion. In the USA, the separation between state and the religion means that neither the state nor the religion can interfere in the affairs of one another. The Indian secularism differs from the dominant understanding of the secularism as practiced in the United States of America. This is because, unlike the strict separation between the religion and the state, American secularism, Indian secularism, the state can interfere in the religious affairs. So it's clear that in the United States of America, it is strictly the separation between the state and the government. But when we look into the concept of Indian secularism, there is intervention. If the as I said earlier, if there is break of fundamental rules or the fundamental rights of any citizen, there will be interference of state into religion. Okay. The Indian Constitution intervened in Hindu religious practice and the abolition of untouchability that I have discussed previously. The Indian state is secular and works in various ways to prevent the religious domination. The Indian Constitution guarantees fundamental rights that are based on the secular principles. Okay, the knowledge that such rights exist make us sensitive to the violations and enable us to take the action when the violation take place. So, in Indian secularism, India provides, or the India allow every citizen to practice, believe and propagate any religion, but there is restriction if the religion is breaking fundamental rights. Is that clear? We can go through the last concept, which is in the blue box. Let's go through that. In February 2004, France passed a law banning the students from wearing any conspicuous religious or political signs or the symbols such as Islamic handscarf, Jewish skull cap, or the large Christian cross. So, in February 2004, France government passed, or the France government banned all the religious symbols in the schools. This law has encountered a lot of resistance from the immigration who are mainly from the former French colonies of Algeria, Tunisia and Morocco. In 1960s, the France had faced shortage of workers. Therefore, they had provided visa for these migrants to come into the country and work on. So, in 1960, the France faced a shortage of workers for their factories. So, they provided the visa or the restrictionless visa for their former allied colonies such as Algeria, Tunisia and Morocco. So these migrant peoples came into France and work here, and the daughters of the immigrants often wear headscarves while attending the school, and this create a non-secular feeling, or this create a religious feeling in the school itself. However, with passing to the new law, they have been expelled from the school of wearing handscarf. That means that in the school itself, actually it's a good concept, because in the school itself it created a good view of in the minds of people, or in the minds of students, that all are equal before the law. So it's a beautiful amendment, or it's a beautiful concept which is passed in France on February 2004. These are the main concept of this chapter of Indian secularism. I hope you enjoy this class, and there is a WhatsApp group which we provide the PDF also. If you interested, just go through the description and there is phone number. You can contact us. So I hope you enjoy this lecture. If you like this video, like to it, subscribe my channel and share it to your friends. Thank you.